Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley with Haley Stitches, and today I'm going to show you 4 different ways to organize your embroidery floss. The different ways we're going to go over are bobbins, thread drops, floss keepers, and floss away bags. So let's get started. So the first storage solution I'm going to touch on is how I organize my full skeins of floss. So all of these are complete skeins of floss. I have not used them yet, and I like to store them in this little mesh bag. So this is just a travel bag I got in the dollar section at Target. There also are specific tins and holders for embroidery floss that you can purchase, and I will link to those below if you want to check them out. But really anything where you can store your skeins flat and keep them clean and out of the way, that is going to be your best option. I pulled a couple skeins of floss out of here so that we can use these for our examples today, and I guess we're going to have a blue theme, but I am going to show you 4 different ways to store your embroidery floss. The first storage method we're going to touch on is bobbins. So this is my bobbin case, and these are all of my already wound bobbins. I have some extra bobbins here too. So these cases are really nice because you can store a ton of bobbins inside, but I'm going to show you exactly how I like to wind my bobbins, label my bobbins, and then store them in my bobbin case. First, you're going to want to purchase some bobbins, and it's nice if you have a ring as well. So I got this from the DMC website, and it has a bunch of plastic bobbins inside of it with a 2.5-inch ring. They also offer these stickers for labeling. So this has all of the stickers, all of the DMC thread labels in there. However, the one thing I will say about this is that the stickers don't really stick on the plastic bobbins very well. So I am not going to use this method. Instead, I'm just going to use a pen and write the number on my bobbin. So this is everything that I'm going to need to wind my bobbin. So I have my skein and a little bobbin here. So the first thing I want to do is label my bobbin. So on these, there is a little place to write the number on the top right-hand side. And just make sure that you do this before you unravel your skein. Otherwise, you may not remember what the color was. So this color, the label is 3811. So I'm going to write that on my bobbin. And then we are ready to undo our skein. So when I am doing this, I just pull both of the tags off, and then I find the end, which is right here. And on the bobbin, you can see there are 2 little grooves here. So this is where you can start and end your floss. So I am going to place it like this. So about 3/4 of the way up, and then I'm going to just start raveling it around. So I like to try to keep things pretty even. So especially on these first couple rounds, I'm going to take a little bit of extra time, but you can, after you get that first even layer, you can kind of just go however you want to in order to get all the floss on the bobbin. So when you get to the end, try your best to make sure that the end is down at the bottom when you're winding. And then I just like to tuck it in like that. And then my bobbin is fully wound and I can file it away. Now I can file it into my bobbin case, and I like to sort mine by number. You also can sort them by color if that works better for you, but my number is 3811, so I am going to file it right here. And then I can move on to the next one. As you can tell, the bobbin winding is a bit time consuming, so that can definitely be a con, but I would say the pros is that you can easily pick out the colors that you need for your project and put them on a little ring, and it's a really, really nice way to see exactly what you have when you store them in a bobbin box like this. The next storage solution we're going to talk about are floss away bags. So essentially what these are mini Ziploc bags, and you can label the color on it. They have little holes in the corner so you can place them on a ring. So this is another way that you can store your unused skeins, especially if you're going to use it for an upcoming project. It's a really neat way to kit up a cross stitch or embroidery project so you have everything easily available. So I'm going to show you exactly how I set up a Floss Away bag, and what you're going to need is just your skein of floss and a Floss Away bag and a pen for your label. So this skein of floss is 3810, so I am going to write that on my bag. And then all I need to do is place the skein into the bag. The great thing about this is that when you start getting little pieces of thread off of your larger skein, you can just put it in here and it keeps everything really nice and neat. You don't have to worry about constantly winding your bobbin with small pieces of thread. Everything can just go in here. You can also place several skeins of the same color floss in a bag, so it's really a great way to stay organized. A con for this method, I would say, is the use of plastic. It is not very sustainable, but if you're able to reuse these bags a bunch of times, I could definitely see these being a long-term storage solution. The next organizational tool I want to mention is thread drops. So these are an awesome way to stay organized with your embroidery floss. So the package looks like this, and you get a bunch of these little drop-looking pieces of cardboard inside. And what you can do is place a bunch of them onto a little ring, and then you will attach your floss to these, and then you have everything that you need right here on this ring. So let me show you exactly how to do that. So what you need to label your thread drop is the skein of floss, a thread drop, and then a pen. So this color is 597, so you can label that anywhere on your floss drop. I'm going to label it here. In order to tie the floss to the thread drop, first we want to cut the floss into even lengths of thread. So to do that, we're going to remove both of the labels, and then we want to find the end of our floss. Okay, so this is one end of floss, and then I want to kind of unravel it all until I get the other end. Okay, so I'm going to place both of the ends together and fold the entire length of the floss in half. So this is the folded end, and this is my original two ends. I'm going to place these together and fold it in half once again. And now my ends look like this. So on one side, I'm going to have two loops, and on the other side, I'm going to have one loop and two ends. So now what I need to do is cut all three of these loops. So we're going to cut here and cut here. Then we're going to go to the opposite end of our length of thread and cut all of those loops. So on this side, we should have 4 loops, and we're going to cut those. So this is going to leave us with 8 strands of exactly the same length thread. Now we can tie our thread to the thread drop. So make sure that your 8 strands are folded in half, and then we are going to pull the folded end through the center, and then we're going to pull the rest of the strands through that loop, and it will just tie on like this. So this is all there is to this. You're going to do this for every single skein that you're going to use for your project, and then you will attach it all by a ring like this, and then all of your floss will be hanging off. It'll be super easy to use. And let me show you exactly how easy it is to pull a little strand out from this floss. So to get a strand out, what you're going to do is go to the folded side that looks like this, and then place your needle under just 1 or 2 strands, however many strands you want to use for your project. So I'm just gonna pull out 1 strand here. So you see how I went under and just pulled out 1 strand, and then I am just gonna pull it all the way out. And what will happen is my thread will bunch up, but once that thread is released, then I can just easily smooth it all back out again. So this is a really, really fast and easy way to get your thread out. There's no unraveling like there is with bobbins, and you don't have to wrap anything else up. If you wanted to tie this back on here, you could just do the exact same thing, or even just tie it in a little knot if that's easier for you. But you can see it's really easy to keep everything organized with this method. This is the last method of organization I wanted to touch on. So this is called a Floss Keeper. So essentially what it is this one is a hard plastic, but they also make these in wood, and it's just a piece of wood or plastic that has a bunch of holes drilled into it. And this one has a ton of different ones because it was specifically for Lori Holt's flea market flowers pattern. So that's where I got this. I got it from Fat Quarter Shop. It's called the Flea Market Flowers Floss Keeper. And essentially what this is a floss drop. You attach it all exactly the same way. So I cut all of these skeins into 8 lengths and then tied them on just like I showed you. But instead of keeping those on a ring, you just have them on one floss keeper like this. So this is a really great alternative to thread drops, especially because it is reusable. There is no plastic involved or paper or anything like that. It is just one piece. The only con to this is that if you have more colors than your floss keeper offers, that may be a little bit challenging. You could always double up on your holes, but you have to be a little bit strategic when you are purchasing these to make sure that it's going to work for the majority of your projects. So for a quick recap of all of the organization methods, the first one that we went over were the bobbins. Next we went over the Floss Away bags, and then I showed you how to use the thread drops, and then there was the Floss Keeper. So these are some of my favorite ways to organize my floss. My favorite one by far is the thread drops, but I would love to know, how do you organize your thread? What methods do you use to store your full skeins? And how do you store the thread while you're working on your projects? Leave a comment below and share with me your favorite method. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope it gave you a little bit of inspiration for different ways that you can organize your embroidery floss stash. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos just like it, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all next time. Bye!